It was a normal Thursday evening when I came home early from work, thinking I'd surprise my wife with her favorite takeout. We had been married for 8 years, and despite the ups and downs, I believed our relationship was solid. I walked into the house quietly, hoping to catch her off guard in a good way. But the surprise I got wasn't the one I had planned. As I stepped into the living room, I noticed something unusual. The sound of faint laughter coming from our bedroom. It wasn't the kind of laugh she used with me. It was softer, flirtatious, almost intimate. My chest tightened, but I told myself I was imagining things. I set the food down and walked toward the door, each step feeling heavier than the last. When I opened the door, my entire world shattered. There she was, in bed with another man. For a moment, my mind refused to process what my eyes were seeing. They both froze, their faces instantly pale. My wife scrambled to pull the blanket over herself, stammering my name, but the man didn't even try to hide his smug expression. It was like he was daring me to react. I didn't shout, I didn't cry. Something inside me just went cold. I turned around and walked away. She followed me into the hallway, begging me to let her explain. But what explanation could possibly erase what I had just seen? My silence seemed to scare her more than any anger could have. I grabbed my keys, walked out, and drove without a destination in mind, my thoughts spinning in chaos. That night, I didn't go home. I stayed at a cheap motel, staring at the ceiling and replaying the scene over and over. I thought about the years I had given her, the sacrifices I made, and how I had trusted her completely. Every moment we had shared now felt like a lie. I didn't sleep at all. By morning, my decision was clear. When I returned the next day, she was waiting in the kitchen, eyes red and swollen from crying. She started talking the moment I stepped inside, about how it just happened, how she didn't mean to hurt me, how she was confused. I let her speak, but my mind was already elsewhere. The love I once had for her had been replaced by something far colder, finality. I told her I wasn't interested in excuses. I said I would be moving out immediately and that she should consider our marriage over. Her face crumpled, and she dropped to her knees, grabbing my hand. She promised she'd cut all contact with him, that we could go to counseling, that she would do anything to fix it. But I couldn't ignore the image burned into my mind. I couldn't share my life with someone who betrayed me so deeply. I packed my things that day, only taking what I needed. She stood in the doorway, sobbing as I carried each box to my car. I didn't look back, not once. I knew that if I did, I might hesitate, and hesitation was the one thing I couldn't afford. I needed to protect what was left of my dignity. In the weeks that followed, she tried reaching out, messages, phone calls, even showing up at my workplace. I ignored them all. I had given her my love, my trust, and my loyalty, and she had thrown it away for a moment of selfishness. I refused to let her drag me back into a cycle of pain. Friends and family were shocked when they found out. Some asked if I was being too harsh, if maybe I should hear her out, but they hadn't seen what I saw. They didn't know the way it felt to have the ground ripped from under you in the most personal, intimate way possible. Eventually, I filed for divorce. The process was painful, but it was also liberating. I realized that staying with her would have meant living with constant doubt, always wondering if she would betray me again. I couldn't live like that. I deserved better, even if being alone felt crushing at first. Months later, I began to heal. I poured my energy into my work, into the gym, into reconnecting with friends I had drifted from during my marriage. Slowly, I began to see a life for myself beyond her, a life where I could be happy without constantly questioning someone's loyalty. One night, I got a message from her. It wasn't another plea for forgiveness, but an apology. She said she knew she had destroyed something beautiful, and that she hoped I found someone who would love me the way I deserved. I read it once, deleted it, and moved on. Looking back, walking away was the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the smartest. I learned that betrayal doesn't have to define you. Sometimes, the best revenge is simply building a life so good that they're no longer part of it. And that's exactly what I'm doing now.